Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating story about a South African social enterprise called AK035. And get this, they found out their biggest failure was actually their greatest asset. How does that even work? So, for the first 3 months of 2025, this is exactly how much money a brand new career service made from its core products. Yep, zero. A big, fat nothing. Not a single rand. Now, for most businesses, you see this number and it's game over. It's a death sentence, right? But for AK035, it wasn't the end. Not even close. In fact, it was the beginning of everything. That zero forced them to ask a really tough question, one that would completely flip their business on its head. So let's get into it and see exactly how they spun this absolute failure into a blueprint for success. All right, first up, the story of a zero revenue success. We'll look at how their original plan just crashed and burned when it met reality. So let's start at the very beginning. AK035 launched with what they thought was a solid plan. But you know how it goes? That plan was about to run headfirst into a very, very different reality. So AK035's mission was pretty awesome, right? They wanted to unlock opportunities for South Africans, offering professional career guidance and CV writing services. The idea seemed super logical, offer great services for a fair price. They really believed that, with the right help, anyone could break through the barriers to finding a good job. But, this slide lays out the brutal truth of their first quarter. And what's wild is that people were interested. You can see it right there. 8 people actually signed up for their paid packages. But then you look over at that last column, and wow, not one of them actually finished the payment. The results? You guessed it, zero revenue. Now, your first thought might be, okay, so these were just cheap customers, right? But the data showed the exact opposite. These weren't people trying to get a freebie. I mean, look at this. 80% of them had diplomas or degrees. They were all in major economic hubs like Gauteng, desperate for work. And they knew they needed an ATS-friendly CV. These were motivated, qualified people, many of whom had been pounding the pavement for 6, even 12 months. And this quote from the founder, Lunjalo Shandu, just hits the nail on the head. This was their big aha moment. He realized they weren't being rejected because their service wasn't valuable. No, they were asking people in the middle of a crisis to choose between paying for job help and, feeding their families. The bottom line was their target audience literally could not afford the very first step to getting the help they desperately needed. So that realization, it led to a massive, radical change in strategy. It was time to stop fighting the data and actually start listening to what it was telling them. And boom, in April 2025, they did what's called the pivot. They just ripped down all the paywalls. Everything became 100% free. The new game plan was to make money from online ads instead, so that the people who needed the most would never have to open their wallets. It was like they were doubling down on their original mission. And was it the right move? Oh yeah. The impact was immediate and just dramatic. Just look at this comparison. On the left, the paid model. Hardly any traffic, those 8 registrations, and 0 rands. Then on the right, the free model. Average monthly traffic shoots up, registrations are now unlimited, and look at that, they're actually bringing in real money. And we're not talking about a small jump in traffic here. This chart makes it super clear. It was a 63% increase in average monthly views. Just by tearing down that paywall, they didn't just help more people, they attracted a way bigger audience. And that audience was the key to making their new ad-based model actually work. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 667 rands. That's not a ton of money, right? But hey, compared to 0, it's literally an infinite improvement. This number wasn't really about the money. It was proof of concept. It proved that their mission to do good could actually be financially sustainable without ever charging the people they were trying to help. But you know how it is. You solve one big problem and a bunch of new ones pop up. Their success was awesome, but it came with this crazy volatility and a whole new set of headaches. So yeah, the free model was working, but their growth was all over the place, super unpredictable. And when you're trying to run a business, that makes it almost impossible to plan anything, to forecast revenue, or to build any kind of stable foundation for the future. I mean, just look at these swings. It's a total roller coaster. In June, traffic skyrockets by almost 500%. Then, bam, the very next month, it crashes by 70%. Then it happens again. In September, it explodes by over 560%, only to plummet by 81% in October. You can't run a business like that. It's completely unsustainable. So the big question is, what was causing this madness? Well, this chart pretty much spills the beans. See that big blue slice? Nearly 39% of their traffic was coming from X, formerly Twitter. Social media was the engine behind those huge, unpredictable spikes. But now, squint a little. Try to find the slice for search engines. It's tiny. Can you even see it? Yeah, it's that tiny little sliver. Search engines made up just 0.7% of their traffic. And here's why that's a massive problem. While they were getting these temporary bursts of attention from a viral post, they were completely invisible to people who are actively going to Google and searching for help. This total dependency on social media algorithms was their Achilles heel, their single greatest weakness. So, admitting you have a problem is the first step, right? So now that they'd identified this huge weakness, the next step was to build a real, concrete strategy for 2026, using all the tough lessons they'd learned the hard way. And they basically boiled down their whole crazy year into 4 key lessons. First, you've got to earn trust before you can even think about asking for money. Second, they realized the real problem for job seekers often isn't the CV itself, it's their whole job search strategy. Third, that wild traffic roller coaster, it's a business killer. And finally, with almost 90% of their ad revenue coming from mobile phones, being mobile-friendly wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was absolutely essential for survival. So, using those lessons, they came up with this really smart plan they call the high-trust revenue model. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, the basic stuff, the CV tools and guides, will always be 100% free. Step 2, they're going to focus on proving their value first, but actually helping people get results. Then, and only then, comes step 3. Offer premium coaching to professionals who've already seen success with the free stuff and are now in a position to actually afford and invest in their careers. It just makes sense. And this isn't just some high-level theory. It's a super practical action plan. To fix that search engine problem, they're going all in on SEO. To stop a 20% revenue leak from technical glitches, they're consolidating their website. To stop relying on those one-hit wonder viral pages, they're going to break up their content into more focused resources. And finally, to actually build a community, they're starting email newsletters and WhatsApp channels to talk directly with their users. All of which brings us to this one big question. Can a mission to do good also be good business? Well, the journey of AK035 seems to scream yes, but maybe not in the way we traditionally think. What their story really shows us is that sometimes the smartest business move you can make is to lead with generosity, to actually listen to what your failures are trying to tell you, and to build everything around serving your community first.